Ever walked out after a storm, looked at your car buried under wet, heavy snow, and thought, yeah, I should have handled this months ago? This video is exactly that fix. Today, we're counting down the 5 best carports for heavy snow, from good in most storms if you're smart about it, all the way up to, okay, this thing basically turned my driveway into a mini garage. Let's start. 5. Villa Outdoor Portable Storage Shelter Shed Garage. This thing is basically a full-on portable garage. Long, tall, and big enough not just for a car, but also extra gear, a mower, maybe even some seasonal storage if you want to use the space smartly. The tarp is a heavy-duty, waterproof fabric that keeps out rain, snow, dust, and UV, so in normal winter weather, it does exactly what you want. Keeps the car dry, keeps the doors from freezing shut, and stops that daily scraping ritual. Now here's where you need to pay attention. The manufacturer straight up warns you to keep the roof clear of snow because heavy buildup can damage the structure. So if you're imagining feet of wet snow sitting on top of this thing all winter while you ignore it, that's not the play. It's more of a storm hits, you let it pile for a bit, then you grab a roof rake and knock it off setup. If you're okay being a little proactive, it works. If you want true set it and forget it heavy snow performance, this isn't that. The good news is when you do stay on top of snow removal, the overall feel is solid. The frame uses galvanized steel pipes, it zips up on both ends, and the roll-up doors plus vents help with condensation and airflow so it doesn't turn into a musty cave. It's actually a nice combo of space and flexibility. You can use it as a carport in winter and a gear or project space in summer. 4. Advanced Outdoor Heavy-Duty Carport. This is the classic 10 by 20 or 13 by 20 style canopy you've probably seen in a lot of driveways. This one is built around a galvanized steel frame with multiple legs and reinforced poles, and it's clearly designed to deal with year-round weather. Sun, rain, snow, you name it. The usual abuse a driveway shelter takes. For normal winter use, it does a really respectable job protecting your car from snow buildup and ice. The canopy itself uses a tough PE fabric that's waterproof and UV resistant, so snow slides off decently well if you've got any sort of slope or wind. In light to moderate storms, you come out, brush a bit off of the sides, and your car is mostly clean and ready to go while your neighbor is still chiseling ice off their windshield. And with the enclosed or roll-up door options on some versions, you can turn it into more of a mini garage feel, which is nice if you store tools or a second vehicle under there. But here's the honest part. Some product descriptions and third-party listings do hint that this kind of carport is not ideal for areas with extreme weather, and that includes very heavy snow or strong winds. So if you're in a true snow belt with frequent heavy wet dumps, you can't just leave this thing unattended for days and expect it to shrug everything off. You'll want to knock snow off the roof after storms and make sure the anchors and straps are tight and secure. Number 3, SANWAY Heavy Duty Carport. This is where things start to feel more winter-tuned. This one typically comes in a 10 by 20 or 12 by 20 size with removable sidewalls and doors, plus roll-up ventilated windows built right into the side panels. That design sounds like a minor detail, but it really matters when you've got cold, wet weather and want a space that isn't just a plastic cave. The top cover is a 180-gram UV-resistant PE fabric that protects against sun, rain, snow, and wind, giving you genuine all-season coverage. For heavy snow, what really helps is the fully enclosed option. You can close the sides to block wind-driven snow, then open windows or roll-up panels when you need airflow or access. That makes it usable as an actual working space if you want to tinker on the car or store other gear under cover. In real use, this feels like a step up in thoughtfulness. The removable sidewalls mean you can run it open in summer as a regular carport or party tent, then button it up tight in winter to shield your vehicle from blowing snow and ice. The structure is still a fabric and steel design, so it's not a permanent building, but with proper anchoring and some common sense about clearing heavy accumulation, it handles winter well. One thing to know, because you've got more fabric, zippers, and windows, setup takes a bit more patience. 2. VEVOR Heavy Duty Waterproof Carport. This one leans hard into durability, a 10 by 20 or 12 by 20 frame built with thicker 38mm galvanized steel pipes, double-walled structure, and a 0.8mm wall thickness. In plain English, the frame is noticeably beefier than a lot of cheaper options, and you can feel that in how it handles bad weather. The cover uses a 3-layer 180-gram PE fabric that's tear-resistant, fully waterproof, and UV-resistant, so it protects against rain, snow, and sun all year. Snow doesn't magically vanish, but the stronger frame and extra bracing give you more confidence when there's weight on the roof. Some manufacturer notes still recommend taking snow off the canopy during big storms because any fabric structure has limits, but this is clearly built to handle harsher conditions than the budget crowd. What stands out is how secure it feels when anchored properly. Between the thicker poles, extra braces, sandbags, ropes, and ground stakes, you can really lock this thing down so it doesn't wobble every time the wind picks up. In heavy snow regions, that stability is huge because the last thing you want is the whole carport twisting or shifting while there's weight up top. The trade-off, if you want to call it that, is that it's a bit more of a commitment to set up. You're dealing with bigger steel, more reinforcement, and more points of connection. But once it's in place, it feels like an all-season shelter rather than a temporary tent you only trust on calm days. Number 1. Purarelax Heavy Duty Carport. The Purarelax 12 by 16 foot carport with an arched roof polycarbonate top. This is where the whole game changes because you're moving from a fabric tarp design to a rigid arching polycarbonate roof on a solid frame. That arched shape isn't just for looks. It actively encourages snow to slide off instead of sitting there as a flat, heavy layer. Polycarbonate panels are used in a lot of snow-resistant carports because they're tough, impact-resistant, and designed to handle rain and snow without tearing or sagging. Combined with an aluminum or steel support structure, you get a setup that feels much closer to a permanent carport than a tent. The roof blocks UV, resists hail and falling ice, and shrugs off typical snow loads far better than simple fabric canopies can. In day-to-day use, this kind of carport feels different. You park under it, and it's quiet, solid, and clean. Snow slides or can be pushed off without worrying about stretching fabric. And the arch gives you good headroom and space around the vehicle. You're not constantly wondering, is this okay every time the forecast mentions a nor'easter or a lake effect band? As long as you respect its rated limits and occasionally clear extreme buildup, it's built for exactly this kind of environment. The trade-off here is that it's more of an investment. Higher price, more structured install, and it's not something you're going to casually move around once it's assembled. Final thought. That's all for today, folks.